Hey guys, Julie here from Julie Designs. In this video, I wanted to show you some quick and easy techniques that you can use to remove backgrounds in Photoshop. So I've got a couple of images here that I downloaded from unsplash.com, which is a website where you can download royalty-free images for your projects. And I also wanted to note here that I'm using an older version of Photoshop. This is actually CS6, and the newer versions of Photoshop might have different tools or easier ways to remove backgrounds. So I'm going to start with this image here, which is an object, this laptop, on sort of a plain-ish background. You can see there's a lot of white. So the tools that I like to use for this are this magic wand tool and the magnetic tool. Now if you right click, there's other tools within this one, so you can use a polygonal, lasso. So we're gonna start by just cropping it down so that we don't have as much background. So using the crop tool, just zooming in a bit more on that object. Okay, now I'm gonna go and click on this little lock here on the layers and just unlock it to make it just a layer. So now I'm just gonna take my eraser tool here and bump up the size a little bit and make sure the opacity is at 100%, flow 100%, and just start erasing around our object. Don't need to get too close. I'm just gonna erase out the larger areas. Just being careful not to cut into our object at all, just going around the outside. Okay. So for this one, I'm actually going to use my polygonal lasso tool. Since we have lots of straight edges here, I think it's going to be the easiest. So I'm going to select the polygonal lasso and I'm going to use this little pointer and click right on the edge. And then I'm going to drag it across and click on this corner here. And then there's a bit of a rounded edge, so I'm just gonna click along the edge closely. Now I can do another straight edge all the way down, click, and then click around the edge. Do another straight edge, click around the edge, and another straight edge, click around the corner, straight line, click around that corner, straight line back up to the top, click around the corner, and when you see that little zero and it does the little dancing lines, then you know it's selected. So now with this object selected, I'm going to go to Layer, New, Layer by a Cut. Okay, so now over on our layers, we have two layers. So you can click on the layer 0 and hit delete. And now we've got our object, which has been completely removed from the background. And this is a really great tool for objects like this that have straight lines and, you know, cell phone cases and things like that. So the next image I'm going to demonstrate is a little bit more difficult. So this is a person, as you can see, and she has still kind of a plain background here, so the background isn't too busy, so this one should still be fairly simple. So the first thing I'm going to do is double click on this little lock symbol and turn this into a layer and hit OK. And then I'm going to take my eraser tool and just start erasing out some of the background. Just getting rid of some of this background, not too close. Just cleaning it up a little bit. And just gonna zoom in a bit. Now for this image, I'm gonna use my magnetic lasso tool. So going here and right clicking and choosing magnetic lasso tool. And I'm just gonna start from the bottom here. So I'm gonna click and then I'm just sort of moving my mouse. I'm not clicking at all. And you can see that the line is sort of following the edge of the object of her skin. Now, if you want it absolutely to be in that spot, you can click and then it will lock it into that spot. And also, so if I drag my mouse up here, you can see it's created a dot, it's created dots in the wrong places. So if that happens, you can just hit delete. Every time you click delete, it will delete one of those little dots or squares or whatever you want to call them. So I'm going to click there and then I'm just continue dragging my mouse slowly along the edge of her shirt. So just keep dragging. I'm going to go all the way to the neck and then click. And I want to just keep clicking around her chin here because it's not the most sharp line. And I'm just slowly dragging around the edge. I kind of want to get her eyelashes a little bit. So slowly dragging up. Now we lost some of her hair there, so I'm going to go back and delete those last two markers and actually physically click along the edge of the hair to make sure I get that hair. Oh, and just keep kind of going really slowly and then clicking if it kind of wants to move down or move where you don't want it to. Just go back, hit delete, and then click on exactly where you want it to be. And keep slowly dragging down. I kind of lost a bit of her hair there, but that's okay. So now we're getting back down to the bottom. I'm going to go around the bottom of the hair and then capture her. Also try to capture her fingers. Now, to go along the bottom, it's not, oh, there we go. Now just match it back up with the first little marker point there, and you can see the little 0 on the bottom of the little lasso tool. Click there. Now if we want to, we can also go into the select, and then there's ways that you can refine the edge. So you can modify by expanding. It will allow you to expand by any number of pixels. So we can say expand by 1 pixel. And then it will kind of move out by 1 pixel there. Or you can feather the edge, contract, smooth, maybe smooth it a little bit. So you can sort of play around with some of those settings until the selection looks more how you want. So now I'm going to hit layer, new, layer via cut, and then go back over to the layers panel, delete that bottom layer. And now you can see we've separated her out from the background, and you might just want to go in and refine some of these edges. I'm just clicking with my eraser and then holding shift and then clicking might make it a little bit smaller. Shift and click to kind of smooth out that selection. And you can just refine the edges here however you want. Obviously, you need to clean that up a little bit. However you want to go from there. But I mean, overall, that's looking pretty good. Obviously, you need to go back in and clean up some of the lines in the corners, but now you can go in, add a new layer, drag it underneath, fill it with a color, fill it with a pattern, fill it in however you want. So I hope that this tutorial has been helpful for you. If you're interested in other Photoshop tutorials, I have several more on my channel. Feel free to comment below if you have any requests, and make sure you give this video a thumbs up and follow my channel, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.